Yeah, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of got this view like women just really have had the rights to be able to do a lot of the stuff that they've been able to do. It hasn't been that long. It's only been decades.
What do you mean?
So like the right to vote,
Hmm.
being able to get into certain
Most
fields.
men couldn't vote either.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But it's almost like when some men then became eligible, it was like women were right after them.
Yeah. Well, it was associated with the draft.
Yeah.
So I I feel like I was thinking about this. I feel like you shouldn't be able to vote for the commander in chief unless you're in the military. I feel like
I like
you
that.
gotta have some skin in the game.
Yeah.
Like what? So yeah, that's my opinion on it.
Do you think that because you've done shows both here in the United States and over in London,
Hmm.
right? And based off of what you see, do you see any difference? Because and the reason why I'm asking this is because they say it's a Western culture thing, right? Do you see any difference between how the women think over in London versus here in the United States of America?
No, I'd say they're just uglier there. Yeah, the women are more attractive in the U.S. You get like a point.
Is it that bad?
Yeah, you get like ladies for all the adjustable sixes out there. You want to be an 8? Go to London. Solid hard 7, 8. Go to London. Go to London. Maybe I'm just not in the right places of London. I don't know. I'm just saying what I've observed.
Yeah.
2 points.
Does the men
And the men are better looking in my opinion.
so does the men have the same sentiment as the men here in the United States though?
Um,
Because I don't know what the child support laws are and stuff like
they're
that.
worse there, I've heard.
Really?
Yeah, no, they used to give you a free, I don't know if they still do it, but they used to give you free housing if you were a single mother. So
What?
yeah, so like Auntie was saying, if I don't know if you've seen Auntie on the show,
Yeah, I
she
like
was
her.
saying how like back in her day they would get pregnant to move out.
What?
I just don't understand like why we incentivize poor decisions.
They would give wait. They would
Yeah.
give you a house
Hmm.
to get pregnant. Basically, they're incentivizing you to be able to be a single mother.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, child support's like the same thing in my eyes.
It is,
They're
but it don't.
paying. They're
That's
paying.
crazy.
Hmm. I mean, I saw an article the other day that said women in the U.S. make $60,000 a year on welfare, 60K,
That is absolutely
and men
egregious.
mostly pay into it. So when we say like the men enable it, it's like a small group of men that are enabling it, but the average guy has to pay. It's men that mostly pay into these benefits. And you know what's crazy too? You know, in in divorce court, a woman can accuse you of abuse in civil court, and then you don't get the right to face your accuser. You don't get the right to
Over there?
here. So if you let's say you got a divorce tomorrow, okay, like
Yeah,
she's great. I doubt that'll happen, but let's just say tomorrow she comes home and says I want to divorce you.
yeah.
She can go in court and say you abused her with no evidence, and it's up to the discretion of the judge. And you don't get a jury of your peers. In 33 states, this is legal. And so you could be accused of abuse, and like they take more of your assets, and it's all based on like a false claim that you didn't even get to go to like real. You only got to talk about in civil court.
That is absolutely insane.
And it was based off of, and the training for domestic violence was based off of I can't think of the name, but it's basically like there's 3 feminists that were like they're like fake lawyers. I don't remember what exactly it was, but it was like it was basically they were they were saying that men are automatically the perpetrators and women are the victims because they're stronger, like is essentially in layman's terms. And she admitted in her book that this wasn't what she was seeing in the real world. Like when she worked with these people, like this
Yeah.
wasn't like, it was very much mutual abuse or like that sort of thing. And literally this is the training that in, I can't remember exactly how many states, it's like 30, 40 states, that all the police officers are trained on, all the judges, everything.
Wow.
Yeah, and so that's what I'm saying. Like, it's a small percentage of men that allow this to happen,
That is insane.
but it's the women who are taking advantage of it. I think
Naturally.
they said 80 million men have been accused of abuse, and 8% of the population says, 8% of the population says they've had a false claim. I mean, this isn't like, this is just what they said. Have you ever been
Yeah.
falsely accused? 8%.
That's crazy.
And the
I
majority,
don't know how guys can really protect themselves against that though.
you can't. That's what a lot of times like people misconstrue about the red pill is like it's so negative. Da, 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 da. The truth is negative.
Yeah.
Like it's just there's no way a guy can avoid the risk that comes with marriage, as sad as that is. I'm very pro marriage. My parents are married, but
Yeah.
it's like if you were looking at a business contract and the other person was paid to leave, most people wouldn't sign that.
Yeah.
And the worst part is so if a man says, I don't want to get married, the laws still make it so if she's living with you, like she can like say common law marriage.
Yeah.
So it's like there's like no way to avoid it.
I almost think that now, based off of the circumstances, and you can give me your opinion on this, based off of the circumstances, it's almost like marriage now is, I don't want to say a middle class guy's game, but a young poor guy's game. Because it's nothing that if you have, right, let's just say, for example, you've accumulated significant resources. Let's say, because I'm 40, right? Let's say you accumulated significant resources and I'm single. It really is no incentive for me to share that, you know, from a business perspective with a person in a marriage. Whereas if I don't have anything and, you know, I'm not really getting into nothing, then a lot of times that guy leads with his emotions and he leads with love, and he's not really thinking logically about what you know, what could potentially happen to him.
You would think, but marriage is more common among people that are richer.
I wonder why.
And
Getting
I mean,
married after you're rich, or
I don't know, but this is just like anecdotally. I actually think it affects the average guy more than the rich guy. Okay, so I was thinking about like my dad, right? If he lost, he's like in his 50s. If he lost half of his wealth tomorrow, got divorced, he would be okay.
Yeah.
He'd be fine. And those guys typically can rebuild it with the skills that they've had.
Yeah.
But the average Joe who's been working 20 years in a 9 to 5, putting money into his pension or 401k, whatever it is, I haven't been in corporate long enough to even know.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
he's never going to recover from that ever.
Yeah.
Where like I feel like it, like the average guy is the one that will like commit suicide, or the ones that will go into like deep depressions and all of these things more than like the rich guys.
Yeah.
Not to say like, you know, Jeff Bezos wasn't hurting, but a lot of these guys get richer once the wife goes.
Yeah, I agree. What do you think about when guys say stuff like, well, if she wasn't there to nurture you, or if she wasn't there to have your back or to raise the kids, that's why she deserves half? What are your thoughts about that?
She deserves half because she stayed like she was
Well,
watching.
that's a lot of times the argument that I see from women online.
I mean, that just goes back to like the build a man argument.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. My dad was going to be rich with or without my mom. And I just look at it as me. Like if I had a boyfriend this whole time when I was building my channel, is he entitled to half of my shit? No. And you know, and like the girls know on an intuitive level that if the roles were reversed, they wouldn't think it was the same.
Yeah.